Tell me what happened up there. And I remember walking up those stairs. We were stepping into a sacred light. Well, tell me what happened up there. And I remember looking at the wrinkles on your hand, reminding me of mirrors in the Holy Land. Tell me what happened up there. I know. You can hear my song. You can hear my song. I know. You can hear my song. You can hear my song. Well, tell me what happened up there. And I remember looking up those stairs. We were stepping into a sacred light. Well, tell me what happened up there. And I remember looking at the wrinkles on your hand, reminding me of mirrors in the Holy Land. Tell me what happened up there. I know. You can hear my song. You can hear my song. I know. You can hear my song. You can hear my song.
Welcome to All Souls Interfaith Gathering, music and spirit service for Sunday, April the 26th. We're so glad to see you here online. Although we wish we could be gathering in our beautiful sanctuary, we're happy to be able to be connected in this way during these times. Just a few announcements about the week to come at All Souls. We have a very special evening coming up this Wednesday, April the 29th, with our first virtual potluck dinner and community forum. This is a continuation of the very popular community forums we held during Blueprint 2020. You'll be able to log on at 6 p.m. on Wednesday night on Zoom, and we'll have a presentation about planning for the future sustainability of All Souls. And then, through the magic of Zoom technology, we will adjourn to tables where we will visit with other folks and eat our dinner together, working on some ideas for the future, and then sharing back together in one large group. So please take a look at our website for the link to the virtual potluck, and we hope to see you there. Next Sunday is a special day in our community as we help to raise awareness for those who are experiencing homelessness. And I'm grateful to Dave Jonah and Sue Dixon, who are co-chairing our virtual walk for the Committee on Temporary Shelter, COTS. If you haven't yet pledged to help in that walk, I hope you'll visit our website and do so. Also next Sunday, we have with us Mark Redmond, who's the executive director at Spectrum, and he will be bringing our homily about homelessness during the age of COVID. Also, next Sunday morning, we will, of course, have our regular Sunday morning meditation time at 9 a.m. And then at 10:30 a.m. next Sunday, both Nina Regan and Reverend Barbara Benton will be leading the group Our Search for Meaning. Of course, all of those links are available on the website. And one other opportunity I'd like to let you know about, and that is an upcoming virtual retreat that will take place online on Wednesday, May the 9th, led by Sandra Lee, called Embracing Transformation. And Sandra will be working with you during that virtual retreat to embrace this time as a period of transformation in our lives. So I hope you'll take a look at the website and sign up for that. I invite you now to join me in a spirit of contemplation as we hear this evening's opening words. They come from Thomas Merton in his book, The Seven-Story Mountain. The soul of humans, left to its own natural level, is a potentially lucid crystal left in darkness. It is perfect in its own nature, but it lacks something that it can only receive from outside itself. But when the light shines in it, it becomes in a manner transformed into the light, and it seems to lose its nature in the splendor of a higher nature, the nature of the light that is in it.
Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near, gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power, Spirit draw near, Spirit draw near, Spirit draw near.
The chalice lighting for this evening is by Joseph Campbell, who speaks of myth and religion and the human experience. He said that the darkest night of the soul comes just before revelation, when everything is lost and all seems darkness. Then comes the new life and all that is needed. So I light this candle in honor of the dark and the medicine of the dark and the equal balance and medicine of the light, coming into connection within ourselves and on earth.
The song begins with a vision. And The Vision is the title of the song, Man on Fire. And I wrote it at a time where I was going through a huge personal transformation. And this vision of a man on fire came to me. And it was me in this time. So the vision brings up these two sort of opposing feelings for me. So in this time of rebirth, in this time of transformation, to be a man on fire is to be burning up old versions of myself and ready to come into the new. So the song begins with a lyric, "These tattered pages I now lay to waste." So these, like my journal, my old self, just burning it up. I'm laying it to waste. And but the vision of a man on fire also brings up this other side, which is of literally being on fire, and that's painful. And the painful experience that transformation and rebirth is. So this song for me is an exploration of what that feels like in all the different ways. These tattered pages I've now laid to waste. They're telling stories of a man from yesterday. Now here I stand with my heart in my hand, in my pain and in my inspiration. Yes, in my pain and in my inspiration. I'm a man on fire. I'm a man on fire. I'm a man on fire. Hey, hey, hey. A man on I stand with my heart in my hand, in my pain and in my inspiration. Yes, in my pain and in my inspiration.
Hi, everyone. It's Reverend Kim Marie, and I'm so grateful to be here this evening to talk about creation and connection and birthing new life. I just want to start off saying thank you so much to Don and Mariko. We've had lots of technology things come up and technology issues, and I'm just so grateful to be connected to you all this evening. I'm sure you can understand. We're all learning lots of new things. So I also am feeling blessed when I started thinking about this topic, and I started thinking about, birthing new life. And I think we do that as a community at All Souls. And I think we do that by being interfaith, because I think it's an amazing thing to be a community that brings people together from different faiths, from different ways of life, and allows a place to listen and to learn from each other. So feeling blessed for that. And I want to start off with a quote by Huston Smith. He's a philosopher of religion. And he says, you can climb life's mountains, or it's possible to climb life's mountains from any side. But when the top is reached, the trails converge. So you can climb life's mountain from any side, which is basically you can have different views in life, but you can see that everything comes together. We all have something in common. And when we can actually find that connection, that's that peak experience. That's that vaster view and understanding that we get from each other when we take the time to come together. So thank you again for being a part of a community that allows that and values that. And I wanted to talk about, sometimes there are so many different ways of being, and how do we come together and accept and not resist other people that may have different views than ourselves. And so I was thinking about change and how necessary change is in creation. And I was thinking about when we're being created, there's so many changes that go through ourselves. We do things like we grow teeth, we grow hair, our physical bodies are changing. And then even that huge dramatic change that when we go from the womb and the darkness of our mother's womb and that internal safe space, and then we're externalized into the light of the world, what a dramatic change that is. We enter the world, we are created with a major change in our lives. And then, of course, change continues to come, and we can either resist change or accept it and embrace it. And depending on the change, we may want to accept or embrace it. So this concept of change, I think, is a part of what we sometimes have to do to embrace new things. Is we have to change. We have to take our view and meet another and hear them, and then things may change a little bit. So I wanted to talk about that this evening too. And there's a quote from Greek philosopher Heraclitus. He says that the only constant in life is change. So for me, that's always a reminder that sometimes I just need to keep rolling with it, because it's going to keep happening. Changes will come. And how do I work with change? So I'm going to talk about two things this evening that hopefully we can also compare to our life, and you can maybe see in your life, and I can also compare to some of the things that are going on in all of our lives. And those things are, I'm going to talk about in Judaism, I'm going to talk about the Torah, one of the concepts in the Torah, and then I'm going to talk about in Taoism, the yin yang. So to start off, if I talk about the yin yang, I made a little picture. I'm sure you all have seen it before. But the yin yang is also called the Taiji too. And in this concept of the yin yang, the black and the white, or opposition, so two sides of the mountain, converge. And it actually creates, from the chaos and from polarization, creates harmony and balance. And I love this concept because I believe right now that the earth is asking for balance. And I think in some ways, I know for myself, especially through all these changes, I've felt a little bit imbalanced. And then I also feel like in some ways our earth and our world is in an imbalance right now. And how do we take the yin yang principle and how do we bring things back into balance? So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about this. Again, the Taoists talk about interconnectivity and how everything needs each other. And this concept of the yin yang, if I spin it, you can see that maybe it looks almost like a black fish chasing a white fish. And there's this concept that the white fish is really trying to eat the black fish, and the black fish, you might be able to see it, is trying to eat the white fish. And it basically talks about if the black fish were to eat the white fish, then the black fish wouldn't exist. So both of these things need each other. Just as the death of the winter holds the possibility of the seed of spring and life, these things need each other. We can't have life without death. We can't have light without darkness. So another concept would be, we can't see the light of the stars without the dark of the night sky. So I love to think of these in terms of our own lives, and I'm just going to go over some of these. So the yin principle, the yin is all about death, and it's about darkness, and it's about the feminine, it's about stillness, it's about softness, it's about earth. So all of these different, there's a lot more, but those are just some of them. And then there's the white, and this is all about life and light and the masculine. It's about action. It's about technology advancement, and it's harder. So those are just some of the concepts. And just to understand these masculine and feminine energies, I identify as a female, but I actually have both of these energies in me. I have both the masculine and the feminine. And depending on what's going on in my life, I may be more masculine, I may be more feminine. And to even compare them into our world right now, a lot of you probably are seeing on the news or whatever channels you are seeing them, maybe within your own family or friends. You can see, I'll just compare about what's happening with the coronavirus right now. The yang energy would be more like, we're going to get out there and we're going to go back to work. And we're actually going to work harder, faster because, we haven't been working. Action-oriented, let's keep going. And then there's the yin. We're going to sit back. We're going to be in quarantine. We're going to be in stillness. So you can see these different polarities at play within our humanity. And I just love just noticing. So something to notice if you want to take that in and notice. And I'm going to bring in a little exercise for us, and then I'll talk about the Torah after. But I wanted to bring in this picture, and if you can you describe out loud what you see? And I just want to say, if you want to write to me after, my email is kglynn, GLYNN, @allsoulsinterfaith.org, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this if you want to write after. So just within my circle right here, describe everything you see on the paper. And you can describe it out loud if anyone's in the room with you, even if they're not. So we're going to take that down for a moment, and I'll bring that back in a little bit. But I'm going to go to a teaching about the Torah first, and then we'll come back. So remember what you saw, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the Torah. I'm not going to go too much into what the Torah holds and all the different teachings in it, but I'm going to talk about one concept, which is called black fire on white fire. So again, black fire on white fire. The Torah is basically a scroll, for those of you who haven't seen it, full of teachings, and actually Torah means teaching, or it means law. And ancient rabbis would describe the Torah as being life-giving. So it takes on quite a mystical quality, the Torah, and what I'm going to talk about is quite mystical. It's about an energy that came before creation, basically. It holds that energy, and that's that life-giving quality it actually creates. So in terms of creation, it is a creator. And even so, like in the Middle Ages, if a Jewish woman was giving birth, they'd bring a Torah in to aid with the birth process. It's like part of life-giving. So this concept of black fire and white fire, let me describe it a little bit better. In the scrolls, there's Hebrew texts. In the text, this would be the black fire. It's written in black. So that's what's being presented, the black fire. It's the teaching. And then it holds equal significance to the white fire, which is all around it, which is obviously the white of the page. It's the white around each letter. It's the white around the words. The white fire is full of spaciousness. It's full of opportunity. It's full of possibility. It's full of, when anyone reads the text, what their life experience, how it merges with the text, and how it takes on new life. So I love this concept because it's just as important as a teaching as the black fire. The white fire is just as important. So just keeping that concept in mind, I wonder about, even how we look at a book and how we may not even notice the white space. We're only just looking at the black space. So I just think this concept is really neat. And it talks about, again, when we have different views, how it changes and how we can actually create new things from our own life experience and how we interpret things. And then when we listen to somebody else's white space, somebody else's interpretation, that it can open up new teachings as well. So in terms of the the black fire on white fire, I think it can be connected to the yin yang. And I also think it can be connected to this experiment we did. So I'm going to sacredly put down the Torah and that concept of black fire on white fire. And I'm going to bring up again this. And I'm going to ask, did anybody see the white space? Did anyone describe it, or did they just describe the black space? And I want to talk really quickly about something that I think we can all relate with. Our whole globe is really being presented right now with this concept of the coronavirus. This is what I was trying to draw, as a little coronavirus. I think everyone can understand that this is a big part of what's being presented to life. And then, of course, outside in the white spaciousness is all these different interpretations. Some are saying, go back to work. Some are saying, quarantine, stay at home. All different views. Your family, your loved ones, your dear friends, maybe even people you work with or you don't even know, but you get to hear their opinions, all have different opinions. How do we hear and how do we be in the white space of everyone else's experience? Do we resist it? Do we embrace it? How do we open and find connection? And the truth is, I don't know the answer to that. We all have our own experience with it. But I just think it's interesting to think about. And I think in terms of interfaith, that's part of what our work or our service is we come together and we get to see where things connect. And I wanted to read a quote by Brené Brown, who is quite inspiring to me. She talks about connection. This is basically her definition of connection. She says it's the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. when they can give and receive without judgment, and when they derive substance and strength from the relationship. So I love this because it feels like the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. When we actually get to climb life's mountains from different sides of the mountain, and we reach at the top, and we actually get to connect, and we get to understand a new energy is created. And again, we get to hear that vaster view, that vaster knowledge, other than our own. I'm going to end with the concept of life and death, and the concept that sometimes we need to be close to death in order to live more fully. And there's a quote I just love. It's by journalist Norman Corden. He says that death is not the greatest loss in life. The greatest loss in life is what dies in us when we live. And so again, just being reminded that when we're close to our own fragility, that sometimes it actually will teach us how to live more full lives. It may even teach us how to connect deeper with each other. And I hope we can all continue to do that, to come together and to understand ourselves better and bring ourselves into balance more. And also, in turn, internally doing the work and externally seeing our earth and everything else come into balance too. Have a wonderful week, everyone.
We come now to the time in our service for prayers and meditation. And as we prepare for this time this evening, I invite you to become a friend of silence. You know, during our normal routines, the expectations of society often make it difficult to savor moments of silence. We're often called upon to be engaged with other people, or with social media, or with television. But during these days, we have a new opportunity to intentionally spend time in silence. And I'd like to begin this time with a reading from Joan Chittister, and this is a commentary on the Rule of Saint Benedict. And it begins with a quote from Benedict's Rule. "Listen carefully, my child, with the ear of your heart." Joan Chittister goes on to say, Benedict says, listen, pay attention to the instructions and attend to the important things in life. Let nothing go by without being open to being nourished by the inner meaning of life. One part of spirituality, then, is learning to be aware of what is going on around us and allowing ourselves to feel its effects. The other part of spirituality is learning to hear in any given situation and being able to respond. So this evening, as we enter this time of meditation and prayer, I invite you to find a spot where you feel comfortable to settle in for a few moments. Allowing yourself to get comfortable. You may want to put your feet flat on the floor. And I invite you to take a nice deep breath to begin, holding it for a moment and then releasing it slowly and easily. Beginning to notice the feeling of your body in this space, right here, right now. And if you'd like to take another deep breath all the way in, releasing it slowly and consciously choosing to allow your body to relax and your mind to slow. And if it feels comfortable, to allow your eyes to gently close now. And here in this spacious place of silence, I invite you to both listen with the ear of your heart and to offer your heartfelt prayers. And now I invite you to spend just a few more moments here in this sweet space of silence, consciously making connection with Spirit, listening with the ear of our hearts, and bringing all of our deepest needs. And this evening we dedicate this time we've spent to our highest good and to the highest good of our community, giving great thanks for the good to come. And so it is. Amen. This is the time of our service for our offering. And during these days of online services, our offering plate takes the form of our website, where at the very bottom of our homepage, you'll find a place that you can click to make an online donation. As you know, this is especially important to All Souls during this time, given the fact that we're not able to do all of our major programming. So your offerings especially count during this time. And we want to take this time to offer blessings for these gifts. And we do so by taking our hand, and if you have a monetary gift that you're sending, enclosing that with your hand, or simply symbolically holding whatever it is you're offering to All Souls and the community. As we offer this blessing, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give.
This is one of my recent writings, and the song is called Gone Beyond. It's a song of deep, deep peace. It's a song that, as Rumi says, lives beyond the ideas of right and wrong. And ultimately, it's a song that I wrote for myself to bring me peace in a really stressful time.
Our closing words are by Islamic mystic poet Rumi. He said that God turns you from one feeling to another and teaches you by means of opposites, so that you will have two wings to fly, not one. So as we go through our week, our flying along, whatever we're connected to, if it throws us off balance, may we come back into balance, gliding on the wind of spirit with our wings, noticing how everything is connected. And the more we can bring balance to ourselves, the more everything around us is in balance too. Have an amazing week, everyone.